How's it going, guys? My name is Checker and welcome to today's video. So guys, in the past few years that I've been building PCs, one of the tricks that I will use to cool down my PC if it's getting too hot or something like that is to take the side panel off. And today we are going to find out if that actually does cool down your gaming PC or if it's just really for nothing. In order to test this, I will be using my current gaming PC. I will be running the Heaven benchmarking test. Now, unfortunately, the Heaven benchmark does not record your CPU or GPU temps. Luckily, I do have the CAM software though, so I will be able to measure my max CPU and GPU temperatures. So before we go and undergo this test, I'll get the system specs out of the way. For a processor, I have an i5 4690K that's overclocked to 4.2 GHz. I had to lower the overclock because when I switched to this case, I had to lower my cooler size, so I went with the Cooler Master Hyper T2, I believe is a cooler. And then I have an Asus Z97-A motherboard, and of course I have the GTX 980 Ti from EVGA. As far as cooling goes, I have one exhaust fan in the back, one intake fan in the front, both of which are 120mm fans, and then I have one intake fan in the front that is a 140mm fan. So as far as that goes, that's a pretty standard setup. 3 fans in one case is kind of average, plus there's a CPU fan, which I guess also does count. So 3 to 4 fans depending on how you look at it. That's a pretty mid-range fan setup. In my previous case, I had 7 fans in there, so that was pretty crazy. I definitely got a lot better cooling in that case, but nonetheless, 3 to 4 fans should give us a really good test here. So to start off these tests, let's start with the side panel on the PC. Keep in mind that I did run a test just before this, just to get my GPU and CPU up to temp. Starting this test, my CPU was at about 35 degrees Celsius and my GPU was at about 50 degrees Celsius. Switching over to the no side panel, I kept the same constraints prior to doing this test, so my CPU was at about 30 degrees Celsius and my GPU is at 50 degrees Celsius. One thing to note here is that when I was doing this test, my computer was noticeably louder, so we will have to weigh that into the final conclusion of this video. And I guess with that said, let's just go to the conclusions. Let's see what we got for CPU and GPU temperatures. So guys, here we are. I was actually a bit surprised here. So first and foremost, you guys are seeing the benchmarks here that were provided by the Heaven benchmarking thinger, demo, whatever it's called. On the left, you'll have with the side panel. On the right, you'll have without the side panel. As you guys can see, they were pretty much the exact same score. Not really that surprising there. With the side panel, did actually perform very slightly better. However, the difference is pretty much negligible. But now let's move on to the CPU and GPU temperatures, which is more important. So guys, with the side panel on, my CPU reached a maximum temperature of 56 degrees, while my GPU reached a maximum temperature of 76 degrees. Not too bad at all, considering that I only have 3 case fans in there. Moving on to no side panel, we got almost exactly the same results. My CPU reached a maximum temperature of 54 degrees Celsius, so 1 degree Celsius cooler, and my GPU pretty much followed that same pattern, reaching a maximum temperature of 74 degrees Celsius. So on average in my test, guys, removing the side panel cooled my components by a whopping 2.2%. So my components are running 2.2% cooler than they were with the side panel on. I'm not gonna lie, guys, I was very surprised here. I honestly thought that it would be more efficient to keep the side panel on. I thought that would actually give better cooling, simply because if you have a sealed case with openings in the front and the back, I just felt that that would provide much better airflow, as opposed to having this huge gaping hole in the side of your case. But I guess that huge gaping hole did provide some fresh air, and actually did cool my components 2.2% more efficient. So where does this leave us? In my opinion, in my honest opinion, in standard cases, in standard uses, I should say, if you have anywhere from 3 to 4 fans in your case, running it without or with the side panel really does not make much of a difference. However, if you do happen to be running a case that only has 1 fan in it for some reason, then I can definitely see a benefit of removing the side panel and just making sure that your components are getting fresh air. On the other hand, I do think that if you have 7 or so fans in your case, I think that you'd be better off keeping the side panel on, simply due to the fact that I think it'll help direct the airflow a lot better and keep your case pressurized. But in my case, guys, it really did not make much of a difference. Side panel on, side panel off. So what do you guys think about this little experiment? Did I do it correctly? Did I do it incorrectly? What are some things I could improve on for next time? Also, if you guys have any more experiments or something like that that you'd like me to try out, I would be happy to do them. Just comment down below with your ideas or whatever suggestions. And thanks guys for watching. I really hope you guys enjoyed this very first video on this brand new channel, and I'll see you guys next time.